voice of Stockton.
Welcome to Rams Hockey, our first Valentine's Day show. We're a little light tonight, but filling in for my co-partner in crime, Mr. Zach Lytle, is a player from the Rams, also my grandson, number 17, Anthony Alvarado. Anthony, say hello to everybody.
Hello, hello. Happy Valentine's Day.
Yeah, we'd like to say a happy Valentine's shout out for the people that we're not with. My wife's up in Sacramento with my grandson, taking one of his last treatments on his cancer, which has come along very well. So thank you for all that get a hold of me and ask me about him. He's doing very well up there, and we wish him continued success. Right, Anthony?
Of course.
Anybody else you want to say happy Valentine's Day to?
Happy Valentine's Day to my mom, grandma, Caitlin, all my cousins, aunties.
We only have an hour show yet, so.
Yeah, so happy Valentine's Day. And everyone else watching.
Yeah, absolutely. Thanks for listening in on a Valentine's Day. I know there's many things you could be doing. Mostly out there, restaurants are going crazy tonight. They're all making money here locally and afar. So I'd like to give a little shout out to the station here. They have now become the voice of San Joaquin as well as the voice of Stockton. That's a big thing because we reach more people, obviously all in San Joaquin. So that's a good thing for everybody that has shows here on this network. We're welcome all the new listeners, and we're heading big. We're going to be big time someday. We'll think of this little closet we're in, Justin, and think we've come a long way, baby. So here we go. We're going to talk about a few things tonight. May not be a whole hour show, but we're going to keep it as long as we can here, and as long as we're interesting. We don't want to keep just boring people over and over with the same stuff. So I want to open up about the playoffs in the Duck League. The St. Mary's team is going to be in the Duck League playoff. They missed out on the state championships. They had to win 2 out of 3 the last time they were in Anaheim. They had tremendous opportunity to do that. They fell short in 2 games by 1 goal. The last game was a little bit different, but they were in there. Before we get to that exact thing, I want to say one thing before I forget. The Rams did a Duck League first, according to the announcers last week at the game, that they're the first-year team to have 10 points in that league. What does that bring to the team, Anthony?
Well, it's definitely pretty hard to be an inaugural team and win in that league, especially how young we are. We're basically playing all 18-year-olds, and it's a hard league to play in. And there's just some games we should have gotten more points. We should have, been higher in the standings. But I mean, 10 points is no slouch. It was pretty hard to get. We got 3 wins and we have an overtime loss. So, yeah.
Yeah, well, we got to start somewhere, I guess, and where this team's going to be next year is going to be phenomenal for people that are following us for the first year. But you do have an opportunity to be in the playoffs, which is kind of cool. They're in the Duck League playoff, which is the league, obviously, that you play in. So can you tell us a little bit about that?
From what I've heard, it's you lose, you're out, and if you win, you're in. So coming in as one of the more lower teams in the standings, we're going to be playing, I think, Damien our first game, which
is the first place team.
Yeah,
if I
first or second
right.
place, and we've had a little bit of success. There's some games, some goals we should have got back playing them, but everything's different in the playoffs. We're all more passionate. We obviously don't want to be the first team to go home, so we're just gonna try and stick it out as long as we can.
Next week, you guys are going to San Jose on a Thursday night, which is the 21st, I believe, 7 days from today. And you get to play Bellarmine. You've played them, I believe this is the 4th time that you've played Bellarmine?
5th.
How many?
Fifth time, I think.
Fifth time. Okay. Can't call the host a liar, okay? Just make sure you understand that. Anyhow, fifth game that they're going to play against Bellarmine over in San Jose at the Solar One Arena. Is that what it's called?
Solar for America.
Solar for America. Yeah,
Yeah,
let's get it
okay.
right so that we don't have
Confusion.
anybody emailing us telling us we got it wrong. So you play them next Thursday night. I believe it's an 8:15 start, a little bit late, but it's for some good hockey. Those teams, we've won quite a few of the games, but that's a good team. They're surrounded by great coaching. Mike Yost does a great job with them, and Dave Guy has done a great job with that team. How do you guys play against them? You guys pair up pretty well, but from a player standpoint, how's that?
As the season has gone by, it's definitely got a little more physical. We've had a lot of success against their team. Out of the 4 games we've played, we've only lost 1. And that was our first. We played Bellarmine our first 2 games of the season. We had a lot of success, and we've come a long way since then, and so have they. So the games are starting to get more competitive, and they're starting to become faster, more high paced, more physical games.
Do you guys feel that your speed has come along? I mean, from the start of the season to where you guys are today?
Oh yeah, we've become. We get to the net better. We have better structure as a team. Coach has done a fantastic. Or both coaches done a fantastic job of getting us together. And in the locker room a couple of days ago, we were just talking about how, some of the players from the beginning of the year to now is just the improvement has been so much. Like everyone has come a long way.
So why do you feel that is? What creates them getting better instead of being stagnant or getting worse?
Well, first it's the practice. We're on the ice 5 times a week, and then we're in the gym. Well, now twice, but it's been 4 times a week, 4 or 5 times a week ever since the season started. So that plays a role in it. And then we're such a young team. We only have 1 player of age against the team we're playing. So playing against bigger, stronger, faster people, we're definitely we have to keep up our game to make sure that we don't look like dummies out there.
Well, that's good. We are going to play, after that game, we have 2 games against Tahoe back-to-back. We play March 2nd up in Lake Tahoe, I understand, and March 3rd here at the Oak Park Ice Rink.
Yeah, Tahoe's always fun to play against. It's a really chippy game. They're a really physical team, a really fast team, really big team. So it's always fun to play them. And in their building last time, we didn't have a lot of success. But it was a great game. Their crowd is pretty loud. Student section's pretty loud, so it'll be fun 2 games.
So you need St. Mary's to come out and support you on the 3rd for sure, huh?
Yeah. We
You
need
guys
to
play.
match them.
Your first time you played here against them, I think it has to be one of the biggest crowds I've ever seen at Oak Park for a hockey game. How does that make you feel as a player coming out and not just having mom and dad sitting in the stands screaming at one player, "Hey, you're doing a great job," or "Get the puck," or whatever they tell you? So
It's definitely cool, seeing people from your school and your friends, some of your friends go to the game. It's definitely, you're different because growing up, we've only had our parents and, maybe 1 or 2 friends come to the game every once in a while. So as a 15-year-old kid, it's cool to see, at least a couple hundred people in the stands.
I'm going to ask you, Dustin. You got to be part of the that first game we did a podcast from there. What was your take? I mean, I know you've done hockey, especially you were with the Thunder and the Heat. I believe you did
I was with the Heat only, but yeah.
Well, we don't
First year of the Heat.
First year of the Heat.
Yeah.
But what did you think as far as the crowd excitement and the game itself?
It was pretty exciting, actually. Like, a lot of people who showed up. But I think also the fact that we broadcasted it was pretty cool because people who didn't know about this can see it now and maybe come out to this game.
Yeah, when the team's on the road and I'm unable to go, there's a thing the Anaheim Duck League it's called Black Dog TV. You subscribe to it, and you get to watch the games. They do a very good job. They do it pretty basically with one camera mid-ice,
Yeah.
and they kind of follow the play. They do it, as far as the players and stuff. They do a pretty good job. Very knowledgeable guys that are doing the broadcast. So it'll be interesting next year if we can kind of funnel that in. Parker, who did the game from St. Mary's, also did the one Tuesday that we played Bellarmine here. I didn't get to listen to the broadcast because I was in the crowd, but he's a well-poised young man. Yeah.
But once you build the program, more people will know about it, and more people will show up to it. Besides the St. Mary's fans and family and friends,
Right.
Because yes, you said hockey is a kind of a growing sport still in this area,
Sure.
and people don't know about youth hockey. So maybe some parent or somebody who hears about this interview or saw the game online somehow, or somebody sharing it, will get their kid into hockey.
Right.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's a good fit for most, and I think, like I said, for a first-year program, we knew we were going in young, obviously, shorter bench. We can have 20 people on the roster. I think we rostered 15, and one young man, Max Clark, definitely a very good skilled player, was not able to play the whole season due to a knee injury. He is back. He's working out now, but we won't see him till next season. But he'll be a good addition to what we already started going. Don't you believe that?
Yeah, I was on the ice when Max got injured in camp over the summer, so to definitely see him go down, he's so passionate about the game and he loves the game. So, and he was going to be a big help to our season because he is going to be a senior next year, so he's a junior this year. To see him go down, it wasn't fun.
Yeah, because like anything else, you have you're one injury away from being off for an extended time, and for him not to be able to play, I know, and it's hard. He wanted to be out there. He came out and skated with the team a week or so ago during practice. Very light skating, didn't get involved in any of the drills, but just to see him back on the ice, it was good to see him, and we wish him luck in the future and welcome back home. We'll see you next season, Maxie. Okay, let's move on here. In the end of March, the 22nd through the 21st, you get to travel back to Minnesota St. Paul one more time. That will be how many times back there this year?
3.
3 times. And this is a exhibition weekend,
Yeah.
more than less. And tell the people who you're playing and what's going on.
We're playing a team we've already played before, Pilot Mound, and then we're playing the Shattuck St. Mary's 18 team. And Shattuck St. Mary's is one of the most storied prep schools in the whole United States.
And why is that? Tell people that don't know Shattuck St. Mary's.
Their alumni is filled with a bunch of NHL players. Sidney Crosby, one of the best players in the world, has been for past 10 years. Zach Parise, Nathan McKinnon, who's another #1 pick. Just they have so many people in Division I and junior teams at the moment. And
Blackhawk star, what's his name?
Patrick
Kane was there as well, no?
Oh yeah.
Or was it Taze?
Yeah, I think it was Kane. Or
Kane.
Taze. It was Taze.
What's Taze?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and all their teams right now are for their age groups are in the top 15 in the whole United States ranked. So, it's gonna be a really, really fun weekend. We're gonna experience a lot. Go to the campus, just play their teams. We're the first team from Northern California to ever play in the Shattuck St. Mary's building.
That'll be fun, and I understand whether it happens next year or not. But I know Coach would like them to have a trip out here, hopefully during the season that the Heat are in, so that we can get them to play over at the arena and get them a taste of that. I think that would be big especially for St. Mary's to be able to do that, and secondly, for the fans that enjoy youth hockey to come out and watch some good hockey. I mean, Shattuck St. Mary's, like you said, is very storied background.
It's funny how the whole thing started too.
Well, go ahead and tell
We're-
our viewers,
We were in
our
Minnesota.
listeners.
Last time in Minnesota. We were getting ready for a game, and our coach is very popular.
You're talking about Zach?
No, we're talking. Well, both of them. We're in the.
You're talking about who? Derek Eisler?
Derek, yeah, Coach
okay.
Derek. We're going into a locker room, and Coach apparently knew the their coach, and the coach walked up to him, and the first thing he said to him was, "When are we gonna get together and play hockey?" So through some talking, we finally got games scheduled against them. So, I mean, it's funny how the whole thing started, just seeing him in a hallway, and then here we are about to play
Yeah,
one of
it's
the most
pretty.
storied teams.
It's pretty good. I think we talked about this on the last show, but he made a statement at one of the games that I was at. Coach, we were outside the locker room, and he says, "It's not so much who's on the ice; it's who's behind the bench." And I think obviously you have to have the youth on the ice playing, but if a person wants to go further into this other than just club hockey, that there's somebody that knows that person's abilities and been able to say, hey, I think I can get you here, here, or here. Where would you like to go? That's got to be a confident thing for a player to be out there and knowing that if you do the right things and you play hard, that you'll be able to go to where you might be a good fit for you.
Yeah, I mean, and to play for a coach like Derek and the connections he has within the hockey world, you have to bring your A game every day to, make sure that you can prove to him that you deserve to be mentioned to this team or that team. So you can't come out and, take practices off, take games off, because Coach, he watches everything from off the ice, your grades, your schoolwork, how you carry yourself, to everything on the ice. So, he's a great mentor. He's been a great mentor to me and a coach for the past 6-7 years.
Yeah, a long time.
Yeah.
Yeah. So those are all things that if you do come to St. Mary's that you'll have at your disposal. St. Mary's is going to be growing again next year. We have some players coming from the Colts organization, which you played in up until last season. The players that that are definitely coming, if you want to mention names, that's fine, and what you think where they'll fit in on this team.
Well, the one that really sticks out because he's been practicing with us for basically the entire season is Bobby.
Bobby
Bird, and he's a really good 05. He's very strong, good with the puck, knows how to score. He'll be a really good addition to the team, being young and just...
Yeah, some of the things. Tell him some of the growing pains you're going to find. I say growing pains, but maturity-wise, I know I believe he's in a private school this year, but you came from a private school.
Public.
Huh?
I came from public school.
Public school, excuse me. That's what I meant to say. I didn't say it. But anyhow, so you came from a public school. Now, talk about how it is to come to St. Mary's, workload, time, all that type of stuff, because you've had a change of how you did things from where you first came in. So
yeah.
Tell the listeners.
The jump from 8th grade to high school was a really big jump, and let alone going from public school to St. Mary's, because St. Mary's, they're such a high standard. Being college prep and having the kids go, to all the good colleges, Harvard, the Yale. So it's just, the standard for teaching and learning there is probably the highest I've ever been at and seen. So you have no time for procrastinating, which I learned the hard way. You have to get homework done now instead of later, and you can't have time to play video games or be on your phone, or then you get home, especially right after practice and after weights, you have to start your homework, or else your grades will slip. And I had to figure that out the hard way. So
now that you figured it out, what you talked about certain things you're going to do in the summer, and then next year you're going to try to take some sort of other classes. Why don't you talk about that a little bit?
So in the summer, I'm gonna take a higher math class. So that way, when I go into sophomore year, I want to be taking a math like 1 year above everyone else.
So you'll be a junior doing junior math?
I'll be a sophomore doing junior math.
Doing junior math,
yeah,
right.
So, and then we just signed up. We just talked to our counselors, everyone, and figured out for the classes for next year. and I'm gonna try and take AP World History, which is gonna be, I've heard, it's, really hard class. And
AP, is that what you're saying?
Yeah.
What does that mean?
it means advanced placement, I believe. So it's basically like a college prep. You get college credits, and it's a college prep class, and it's a lot more workload. And I still have to work on my time management for that class, and I have to be ready for everything that's gonna come if I'm ready for the challenge.
So it really gets you ready for the next level of education,
Yeah.
as well as hockey. So it's going to be a year coming. We're not quite done with this year yet, but we're getting close. So now at the end of this year, how do you feel? I know you've talked about it a little bit, but tell how from beginning to end of the whole team, who do you think, and don't say yourself, has improved the best, first academically and then hockey-wise?
Well, improve in school. It's definitely been. I like to say Strider because he had to take summer school classes to get into St. Mary's, to get his credits to get into St. Mary's. So, I mean, he's definitely coming along really well. And on the ice, Strider's gotten a lot better. Last year we called him I called him Tasmanian Devil because he's just all over the place and he's just such a havoc. But I mean, Hunter Hayes, he's my age, and next year he's going to be taking AP Calculus, which is the highest math class they give us at St. Mary's.
That's because his mother's smart, not his dad, right?
I don't know. I mean,
John, we love you wherever you are.
yeah. So Hunter's a genius. He's probably going to take all AP and honors classes next year. So, yeah.
Well, now hockey-wise, who's improved the most from what you've seen in the start and to where you're at today?
Everybody's basically gotten a lot better. We've all had stuff coming into it that we needed to work on, and our strengths and our weaknesses. Being on the ice every day has just helped us improve all those.
Let me ask you this. I know Coach Eisler's style of training, how he gets you guys to achieve more, push you more, that type of thing. I know it's some of the kids or some of the young adults, whatever you want to say, have a tough time understanding why he is getting on them to get better. I mean, they take it a different way. Now, you've been around him, like you said, 6-7 years. I've heard him talk to you like he talks to everybody else. You're no different. How do you, I mean, you tell me how you handle it because I know how you handle it, but tell the people who are listening how you handle it. And then what do you tell somebody that's just not getting it? In other words, oh, he's picking on me, or that type of attitude.
I mean, he doesn't sugarcoat anything for anybody. He's gonna yell at you if you did something wrong. He's gonna scream. He's gonna get in your face. He's gonna, you just have to take it, and get better. That's why he cares about everyone that he's coached. So he's gonna yell at them to make sure they're getting better every day, and they're not gonna take a shift off or a rep off. I mean, you've seen him yelled at me so many times, and you gotta take it.
Well, do you understand why he's yelling at you? It's not
Yeah.
like he's just picking you out to yell at you.
Yeah, I mean, there can be some times where you think he's just picking on you or something, but he's not. He's trying to get you,
Make you better, right?
trying to get you mentally right.
It's not a game for the soft at heart. Let's face it. I mean, you guys are out there hitting each other. Probably the best hit I saw all season was in practice last week. You want to talk about that just a minute?
You're talking about Luka and Sar?
Yeah.
Yeah. Luka had his head down and he was skating across the middle, and Sar kind of ran into each other.
It wasn't intended to run.
It wasn't intentional, but I mean, Luka was hurt. It wasn't funny, but it was kind of funny.
Yeah. That was the best hit I've seen all year.
I told Sar that was the best hit he's put on anybody all season. So, I mean, luckily Luka, no one was
Injured. Yeah, he just got the wind knocked out of
Yeah.
him. But it's a tough game. So getting back to the coaching thing, how do you tell somebody that gets in the locker room and they're saying, Man, I don't know why he's picking on me, or that woe is me type of
Oh,
stuff.
that's happened this year because there's been practices where coaches he's really like just yell at like one person just maybe for like a couple of times, and it's been like he's just picking on you all in practice, and I mean, there's gonna be days where you have your off days, and you just gotta. I mean, he's just trying to make you better. He just cares about you. That's
So
what
how
I
do you
him.
tell? What do you tell?
I
Yeah,
tell him he cares about you. He wants you to get better. That's the only reason why he's yelling at you.
right. When he stops talking to you or trying to get you better, he doesn't feel that there's anything there he can work with. But
Yeah. And he's
go ahead.
if you're doing something wrong, he's gonna tell you, and if you're doing something right, he's gonna give you a pat on the back, and he's gonna he's gonna tell you did a good job.
Yeah.
It's not like he's just.
And when you do figure out whatever he was yelling at you at, doesn't he tell you?
Yeah, he's gonna tell you that when you're doing good, and he's gonna yell at you when you're doing something wrong.
Well, that's good. I mean, that's how. Of course, I can't relate when I went to school to the kids today, but what the coaches did to us, whether it's right, wrong, or indifferent, they got us to play harder. In today's society, I don't know if those coaches might have been arrested. I mean, that's how it wasn't bad. I mean, I'm still here. Nothing killed me, and most of the kids are fine. So that's just another way of doing it. But today's society that's a whole nother program, a whole nother day. But people have to understand that this game is not chess or checkers, and I'm not putting those people down. Please don't send me any emails. I'm not putting them down, but non-physical game, right? This game is very physical, and you playing back in NAPHL, those kids are huge. They're big as Clayton's a small kid on the
Yeah.
ice back there, and if you don't know what you're doing, you're going to get ran. I mean,
Yeah.
you're going to get thumped.
He yells at you to make sure you're gonna be okay, and you're not gonna look like you're just a cone out there.
Yeah.
I mean, there's been times where I've come out of games and I'm just physically and mentally just beat. It's a hard game to play, so yeah.
Now, you played in the Colt organization all your career up until this year. Tell me how the leagues that you're in St. Mary's differs from the Colts.
Definitely size-wise, passion. The kids now are a lot more passionate than they were in the Colts league, because I mean they're all older. They're all trying to get noticed. They all have passion for the game, like I said, and they're just trying to get to that next level. So it's a lot harder to play.
Yeah, a lot harder to play, and there's been some conversation about St. Mary's it's just it can be an extension to the Colts, to the kids that have the passion to play and are able to have the skill quality to play. So anybody in the Colts organization has an opportunity at some point to go to St. Mary's, and there may be a different club. I mean, there's other clubs out there other than St. Mary's, as everybody knows, but it's close. I mean, we're right here in Stockton. It just makes sense to me that if you really wanted to go to college or the junior league, that you would go through St. Mary's to do that, if that's your ability level. Now, it's not for everybody, and just because you want to play club hockey or NorCal hockey does not mean anything. It's not a slight at them. It's just the kids, or the hockey players' desire to get better and to get out to where you're seen. Now, talk about the teams that are coming to NAPHL, and tell the listeners what NAPHL means.
NAPHL is the North American Prospects League, and it's
Go ahead.
I'm blowing up there.
$5 fine, by the way, Rick.
It's an extension like league to the NHL, which is one of the top junior leagues in the country. And they've had a lot of D1 players and NHL draft picks. So the NHL's no slouch of a league. But this year we had, I believe, 8 teams. It was us, Tahoe, Pilot Mound, Prairie, which are 2 teams from Canada. We had St. Rita, which is a team from Illinois, Valor, which is a team from Colorado, as long as Fountain Valley, and one more. North Star. So I mean, those teams were all really, really good, big, fast, physical teams, and us being the young team we had, we did have a little bit of success, but it was great competition. And next year, I heard that along with us being invited back, there's going to be, I think, two. Right now, I've heard of two teams that might be invited to play in that league, which is Shattuck team. The Shattuck team are going to play in March, and another team from Illinois, Lake Forest Academy, which are, I've heard of obviously two really good organizations and teams.
Now, you've played down in this great Park Ice at 5 Point Arena. It's a new facility that they built in Irvine. I'm just reading a few highlights off of their webpage. It took them 687 days to build that. I mean, it sounds like a lot of days, but for one, I haven't been there. But talk about the facility when you first pulled up, what you thought, and then walk us through the facility.
Well, when I first pulled up, it didn't look like a hockey rink because there's windows, and it's a very
Somebody said it looks like a mall.
yeah, it does look like it's a nice outside building. When you get in the facilities, everything in the facility, the locker room, the ice, the whole rink is top notch, and they really did a good job building it and maintaining it now. With our league, we have intermissions. The ice always gets cut. No game has ever been delayed that we've played at, and it's a great facility all around.
Yeah, they're gonna at some point maybe Kaha will be playing their state championships, or did they?
They played them last time we were down there, which was 2 weeks ago,
A week and a half
week and a half
ago.
ago.
Yeah.
Yeah, they had the 14 to 18 AAA Kaha teams there for the state championship, and I got to see a couple of my friends that play on those teams again, and I had a couple of friends that win a state championship, and it was, they maintained it very well. I mean, the competition to watch, and as a hockey player to watch other teams and watch other players play, it's very exciting. So.
Yeah, they have one rink that holds 2,500 people, I believe.
Yeah.
And that's the actual practice ice of the Anaheim Ducks,
Yeah.
right? The NHL affiliate?
No, just Anaheim.
Huh?
Anaheim Ducks.
What did I say?
You said the affiliate.
The Anaheim Ducks,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah.
Not the affiliate. They're the NHL team.
Yeah,
They're
yeah.
the main guys.
Yeah.
So that facility, and San Jose's got, as far as Northern California, probably the state-of-the-art four-sheet rink up north here. Comparison-wise, from a player standpoint, what do you think? The differences are the same or
Just
similar?
It's similar in ways. It's
Obviously, it's newer, so it's going to be, that much to it as
Yeah.
being new. But
yeah. I mean, I like the locker rooms better in Anaheim better.
what's better about them?
Just more spacious. Locker rooms can get kind of tight. The showers are pretty nice.
Yeah?
Everything.
No, treating you like a top-notch player, huh?
Yeah. Yeah.
Talk about, we have one senior left on the team, Alex Gano. Now, he in a few short games, I think we got 5 scheduled more games, somewhere in that vicinity, depending on what you guys do down in the playoffs. Where is Alex going to go next year, or does he know?
I don't think he knows, but I've heard Coach talk about him to some teams, and he's a very good player. He could play at a very high level, and hopefully he gets into the NHL, which is I think top 2 junior leagues in the entire United States, which would be great for him. Be playing against some of the best players in the U.S. for 16 to 20-year-olds. So hopefully he gets into that. But there's also other alternative leagues that he could get into that are also at a really high level.
Yeah, so college may not be where he's headed. It may be.
The oldest you could play in juniors is 20, and he's 17. I don't think he turns 18 until another like 2 months or something like that. So he has basically 2 years to develop and get stronger and bigger to hopefully play college hockey one day.
Now, let's talk about your little. I shouldn't say little. Your thing that you're involved with in hockey started last year with the select program. Talk a little bit about last year, where you ended up, what you did, and then talk about where you're at this year.
Well, last year I went to the regional camp, which consists of 14 states, and it was a week-long camp. And I made a lot of new friends and a lot of new people that I still am in touch with to this day. On social media, and they're all over the U.S. playing for their teams. But this year compared to last year, it was a lot more physical, and everyone's gotten stronger and faster, and it was a lot more competition, and it was definitely harder to make the select team, because I did make Skaha's, and I am going to Pacifics in May, and it was a lot harder. Everyone's just gotten a lot better.
So talk about where is that being played?
Pacifics is in Vegas at the new
Las Vegas.
the new night, Las Vegas night
Golden
practice
Knight.
facility. Yeah.
So now talk about how many states are involved there, and number of players on the team, and how many will get picked out of there to go to the national camp.
There's, I believe, four states. There's California, Oregon, Washington, and Alaska. And I think California selects the most kids to go to the Pacific camp, because I think we are the biggest state. And 9 forwards, I believe 5 or 6 D, and 1 goalie get picked to go to national camp, which is all 50 states.
So how many districts are there? 4?
No,
5?
I think there's close to maybe like 14.
14 districts throughout the
Yeah.
United States.
Yeah.
So if you get picked there, or whoever gets picked there, is going to be one of very few kids that will go. Now talk about the national camp. I know where it is. Go ahead and tell everybody where it is, and then what happens in your hockey future by.
You're considered to be one of the top 250 kids in your age group to play in the U.S. that year, and it's a week-long camp. You get put on a team from kids all over the country, and you basically play a tournament-style camp. And I guess winner gets bragging rights. And
Who's looking at you? Even in the district camp, when you go in Las Vegas, is there? I know you're too young maybe not too young for colleges, but do they have college recruiters there, or scouts?
I've heard there's a few junior and college scouts that go to those camps to evaluate the players and see where they rank up amongst their peers and stuff. But I think for the 15s and the 14s, it's more just they're trying to watch them develop and see what track they're on. And then by the 16, 17 year, that's when they really start, probably talking to the players at nationals and, having them get in touch with their coaches and stuff like that. But I think 14, because the 14 group doesn't have a national camp. They only go to the regional camp.
Right.
Because I think USA Hockey thought the 14-year-old age group was too young to get the national exposure.
So that's what's on the agenda for you. Now, as I know, there's some of the players on the team that have been invited to go to different training camps. I know your roommate has been invited. What camp is that?
It's a NAHL camp, showcase camp in Vegas. I don't know how it works, but probably same type. You just get put on a team and you get evaluated by probably all of the NHL teams and scouts, and it's pretty good exposure. For Luca, he's an 04, so he's my age, and Alex, our senior, got the same invite. So I'm assuming there'd be a lot of older kids there, which is nothing new to us now, but it should be he should be good.
Now, when these people are looking at you, what are they looking at? Just your hockey skill, basically, or?
They're looking how you could gel with the team, how you're a team player. They look at everything from how you compete in the corners, how you don't give up on pucks, your offensive skills, your defensive awareness, your offensive awareness. They look at your whole game, and they want to. I mean, it's their job to pick out the the best players that they think,
Will
in
fit-
their opinion,
will fit in their
team.
program.
Yeah.
The best. Now, for other kids that are still in, well, they can be in anything actually, but the NorCal area, I know Y Leave Hockey has a developmental camp here in Stockton, and I believe it's at the end of July, usually the last week of July. I don't have the dates in front of me. And talk about the coaching that's there. We know Coach Eisler; he's the mastermind behind this. But talk about the other coaches that come in and help out.
We have, for my age group, which is the older one, we have Mike Fields.
And
he's the assistant coach to the Division I Arizona State University team.
And they're ranked where this year? You said.
I think 12th or something like that.
Yeah, that's
They're-
pretty
they're-
good.
Yeah, and they're a third-year Division I team, so they're on a pretty good track. They
now,
should be one of the top teams in the country coming
I
up.
know he does classroom with you as well as the ice. What does he talk about that they look for, other than, obviously we know hockey, that they're looking for the best hockey player, but what do they, scholastically, what does he say that Arizona State looks for? Because that's all you can speak about at this point.
Scholastically, he says that your grades they come before hockey if you want to play Division I, because in order to play Division I, you have to maintain, I think it's like when you have a 4.0, you're eligible for all 60 Division I teams, and then when you have a 3.5, you cut that number in half by 15 or something like that, and then 3.0, you're cutting to 30. So you basically want to have the highest
Great
GPA
point, yeah.
to get accepted.
Now, what does he talk
colleges.
about social media? Because all you young folks like the social media. What does he say about that?
Basically, watch what you post, and he says that every junior in college league team have, their like people in their system that track all their people that they're looking at on social media, and you have to watch what you post and watch what you do.
Yeah, that's not probably a bad thing anyhow. Before you post something, to think about what you're posting and how it's going to affect
Your future.
your future. Right, absolutely. So that's all good stuff. I'm hoping you guys pick up some stuff from that. We've had already one event this year. I call it a reverse raffle. It was our dinner back in October where we gave away $5,000. And Mike Robinson got to fly in a jet because he outbid everybody at $3,500 on the ride over to Monterey in a private jet. And I know Mike and I have emailed and text back and forth, and I know he really enjoyed it. I finally got a number out of St. Mary's as to what we raised, and it's in the $7,000 neighborhood, which to me, the first time we've done it, I think that's a huge success for everybody, especially your young hockey players, because it helps with extra stuff that the school didn't anticipate, or travel and that type of thing. So it all goes back to you guys, and you guys helped out. You served that night. How was that for you? Finally, you actually happened to work to make a little money.
It was. I had a lot of fun. I mean, it was the first time ever waiting a table, so I was kind of. I wouldn't say I was the best, but it was fun.
Yeah, the people that sat at Hunter Hayes' table, they love them. They came out last Tuesday night to watch you guys play, and she happened to be sitting right by Hunter's mom, and she goes, I love that Hunter. And I said, well, this is Mom you're sitting next to, so it was kind of cool to.
The people at my mom's table, or the waiter, was Jack, and it was basically Jack's parents, my parents, and Lucas' parents, and they all said Jack was terrible. So, yeah.
Way to go, Jack.
Jack
Atta
has
boy, Jack, you're not being invited back next year. Thanks a lot. No, he's a good young man. All right, and we want to get this. A couple things I got left on my plate, and then we're gonna tighten this up. I'm getting the 5-minute wind up from our astute board man, Mr. Dustin Brakefield. But anyhow, we got a golf tournament coming up May 19th at Oakmore. It's a fundraiser again. It's our second one of the year. We're probably going to have these two main fundraisers throughout, unless somebody comes up with a better idea to raise a little more money. But Oakmore, it's on St. Mary's Preparatory Hockey page. If you go to St. Mary's. It's on their website. And it talks about every which way you can donate to it or play in it. Looking for sponsors, for hole sponsors. We will have a hole-in-one car there. Longest drive, all the typical stuff. We're serving lunch and dinner via the Stockton Host Lions Club, who will be cooking for us. So we should put a shout out to them. So remember, put it on your date. It's a Sunday. No hockey on Sunday. May will be all done with hockey, but we're still going to come out and support these young men that go out there and do their thing every week. Also, I want to, even though he was a no-show tonight, my dear friend Roy Morales, who has a very much passion for here in Stockton, California, he brought back the Lions All-Star Game, which the radio station we're here at, the Voice of San Joaquin, will be there. I don't know if they're going to be broadcasting the game, Dustin. Or
as of right now, we'll be broadcasting the game. If anything changes, we'll let you know.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But it's coming back for the first time in, I believe, 5 or 6 years.
Yeah, it's been in Tracy the last couple of years.
Right. Ever since UOP got out of the football game, the stadium was done. They moved the game to Tracy. They did a very good job in Tracy. Last year, the numbers weren't quite there. There was some talk about them just canceling it altogether. But there's a lot of alumni that was involved, and one of them was our boss there at Chase Chevrolet, John Ferriolo, and he told Roy, "You just get the game back here, and I'll do the best I can to help you as much as I can." So the game will be June 15th at Lincoln High School, and Lincoln's. I got to tip my hat to them; they were very gracious. The only thing I believe we have to pay for is security there. I'm not quite sure. Roy was supposed to be here to discuss it, but we'll get him on the show before the event, obviously. They're going to allow the All-Star people to run the concessions and make that money. So, and I understand they're going to have some sort of youth camp there prior to the game, so you can bring your young man or lady out, wants to play football. And I know... I believe it's Tyrone Gross that's going to be part of that program.
I know you guys are St. Mary's guys, but actually it's one of the best fields in California, some people think, the stadium-wise.
Yeah, it is a nice field.
Because Mark Tennis, who's a part of it from Cal High Sports, wrote in his recent book about high school football, he thinks it's one of the most underrated fields.
Yeah, he was here in this very studio.
Yeah, I interviewed him.
Yeah, that was you that interviewed him. I know it was here.
Yeah, but Mark says, it's one of the best venues he's been to in California high school football.
So that's cool.
Yeah,
that's good stuff.
It's great to see under the lights also.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be a fun time out there. We want to thank Roy for getting it back and thanking the committee who voted to bring it back. Roy was a big push in that. So he'll be out and about promoting that game. Some of the old alumni, he's asked me to be part of it as far as maybe the halftime show, bringing out some of the old alumni, introduce them to the crowd, and it should be a fun night, again, June 15th of this year at Lincoln High School. So I think we're all in and done for tonight. We'll be back, I believe, 2 weeks from today?
28th.
28th, last day of the month. We'll be right back here in this very studio doing another podcast, or what do we call these? Is it a podcast?
It's a broadcast.
A broadcast, okay. I want to make sure we get the right thing out there. Yeah. Anyhow, Anthony, you got any closing remarks? Anything you want to say to anybody? A shout out to somebody?
Thanks for watching.
Yeah. Oh, very nice. Very nice. Okay, folks, until we meet again, like I always say, keep your skates on the ice and reach for the stars. Keep dreaming, everybody. Good night, and we'll see you in 2 weeks.